welcome everyone to Devils United. It's me, Maisie, and with me I've got Stephen from Leeds TV. I have Vignesh, and I also have Jason here. Both of them, they've only just done a stream today, so big up both of them. Today we thought we'd discuss about the match reaction to Man United versus Leeds. So we'll start off. Before we do talk about the game, I thought it would be a really good idea to talk about Varane's announcement at Old Trafford. For me, I was so amazed by it. I was literally so angry with Man United, thinking, why have you not announced Varane? But
that shocked me. I was like, damn, I got goosebumps. Like, I was like flipping out.
I think no one saw that coming, like the way he came with the jersey and all showing it up. It was very surprising.
For me, I wouldn't have been too impressed, to be honest, because if it was me, I'd rather him just be announced in the training pitch and have him start the game. Announce him as he's starting the game. That would have been a good one.
Did you see PSG? They announced Messi on the pitch today as well.
Trying to copy yours, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
But I think we could have done probably the same, where you announce him the kit and then you've got him there on the pitch ready to play. Right? So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got to see the announcement and you would also got to see him how he plays on the pitch.
Reese is now on the stream. Hi Reese, how are you?
I'm alright, thanks. Little special delivery if anyone wants to hazard a guess what's in there.
Arsenal's funeral.
I know it would be cheap. It would be cheap to cost that funeral. My dad treated me. This is my
It's a Bernie shirt that you can set on fire.
One small second. Allow me to respond in the most appropriate manner.
Someone had to say it.
Good one, Jason. You took the words right out of my mouth.
It's all right. It's not delivery I sent him. It's an Arsenal shirt.
There's hate and then there's that, right?
Reece, what did you think about Varane's announcement at Old Trafford?
Completely unexpected, but smart. It was the right thing to do, but also it could have been horribly wrong if we got beat.
Listen, I think it's really pushed the fans, and the crowd was just absolutely amazing, and I think it got the fans a bit more of a buzz seeing that Varane announcement actually happened.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It could have been horribly wrong though if we had got beat though. It would have been like complete social media chaos if we had lost that game, because people were like, oh, Varane, he's been announced, perfect. But we lost the first game of the season against Leeds. It could have went horribly. It could have went horribly wrong, but they picked their moment. They announced him. He's the new number 19. Fair enough. We take it from there. And the fact that we've now got the best back, we've got the best defence in the league, from what I can say, in terms of a solid back four. It's probably the best in the league. The only one that comes close is maybe City's when it's fully fit. But the fact that we've got solid players in their solid positions that are natural to their position, you cannot say that Man United don't have the best, or if not top two in the league by now. You just can't.
What I was going to say is that you've also got, not to mention that you've also got a new set piece coach to help you with the
Ramsey.
Your situations you had last season with your set pieces and that. So, don't expect to concede a lot of goals from Man United this season.
In my opinion, I've said it a few times, he's my sign of the summer. Not Varane, not Sancho, which are great additions to the squad. I said Ramsey's our sign of the summer.
Watch City beat Spurs tomorrow.
No.
Oh, please. Just anything to beat Spurs.
City will beat Spurs tomorrow, and then next day Harry Kane will go to City.
They'll draw
tomorrow. It would be so dramatic if that actually happened. It's like...
Yeah.
At least it'll make part of my weekend.
They'll draw tomorrow. At least you're not bottom of the league anymore. Leeds are.
Ah, funny.
You're still in relegation zone though, so it doesn't make no odds.
Yeah, and you got Chelsea.
I definitely do not own a Dan James shirt. Don't worry, I do not own a Dan James shirt.
What about Phil Jones?
No thanks.
Don't worry, he's getting testimony.
I respect the man, but no, I would never get a shirt with Phil Jones on it. I've actually, that's the whole Mandel Way shirt. My dad bought them for me, as a treat. He got me both. The
best shirt I had in my house is a George Best shirt. That was my dad's.
That's amazing.
Oh,
The shirt I'm wearing though is
I-
class though. The shirt I'm wearing though is definitely one of the best around.
I'll hold my tongue.
Got your
until then.
PlayStation one.
No, that's a hoodie. I said shirt. You got to get.
He's bought a PlayStation shirt to think he's actually got something.
All right, I'll let you off.
Oh,
It is
I
a
got
really
that.
good
I got
shirt.
that shirt. I got about like
Seven
definitely
or eight
United
season.
shirts.
I think Stephen would remember that one. That was the year we got a European double. Which you were celebrating fourth.
No, I don't remember that.
For anyone who didn't watch the game, which you was missing out otherwise, the score was 4-1. Vignesh, what did you think about
5-1.
the game?
5-1.
5-1. Oh my god.
Fred,
You got
5-1.
it wrong again.
You forgot
Oh
my man
my.
Fred. You forgot my
Yeah.
man Fred.
Yeah, I'm always forgetting Fred. It's just, it's Fred.
Yeah, well, he is.
Red is a red.
Okay, I've edited it now. 5-1.
Yeah.
What do you think of the game anyway, Vignesh?
It was a very explosive game right from the start. Like, I mean, we all have seen how Bielsa, like how his teams are like traditionally going full on counter again, and pretty much they attack all the time, even if they are down by 4-5 goals, like as we saw last time in the 6-2 hammering off that, they still attacked. So it was, so it was like very expected that like they would be doing this. So like I'm just glad that
Can
we were able
anyone
to.
guess who this is?
Don't know.
No.
Go on, who?
David Beckham. I met him.
I think you sent it to me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Nice.
When I was a kid, I met David
That's-
Beckham. I was lucky. I tapped him shoulder, gave him that, and he signed
me
it
in
for
the
me. I
mud.
was like, yes.
Nice.
That's me in the
Nice.
mud.
That's nice.
Actually,
yeah,
I might be able to
the-
top that.
Okay.
Oh, here
Go
we
on.
go.
So yeah, I'm just glad.
the
we
old
were
days.
able to
I bet you top
deal
it
with
with
it.
Ronaldo. I
Is
bet you got
Is that Sean
Ronaldo.
Dice? Is that Sean
No.
Dice playing after playing Bernie career mode?
Nah, Beckham's my all-time favourite player for Man United. Everyone knows that. Shut up, you Arsenal scum. Beckham's my all-time favourite player, but I don't think you could ever top two signed photos of this legend.
Is that Gary Pallister?
That's Norman Whiteside,
Normal,
Yeah.
right? Nice.
proper 80s Man United legend and a record breaker.
Yeah. I got Yap Stam's autograph as well somewhere.
Stam was class. I got that off
Yep, Stam's quality.
world class.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were winning 5-1, deservedly so. Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just glad you were able to tackle with the threat, and even though they did get that one, I'm actually kind of glad Luke Ayling scored that, because after they scored, that is when the team got to life. Like we scored like 4 goals like that on the trot, like bang, 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 bang. So I'm glad they scored that. I know it seems you're glad.
Yeah,
I'm just happy they
exactly.
scored that, because like when you see how the other teams played, like Chelsea, Liverpool, they all won their games by 3-0, 3-0. So we are like on top right now just because of the difference. We scored 5. That is the reason why we are on top. So I'm
Yeah,
kind
the
of
way
glad
we played today reminded me of the old Manchester United back with Fergie.
Yeah. Full time attack. We did not give them a space.
Yeah,
So,
true.
I'm kind of glad we did that. So yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely moments that had that sort of relapse of great play. The only thing though is like we cannot afford to just think about Fergus United and relying on the past. Like we have to do what we do.
Yeah,
We've got to
we'll
move forward.
Yeah, true.
We got to move forward. It's a different United, so there's a different sort of expectation. Like there's different expectation of style that we want to see. But it's good to have the memories of the past that you don't want to let go, and that's something you don't want to do. And that style is what we're known for, so we can't afford to lose that. But
Yeah.
it's a totally different United.
Yeah.
It's a totally different period of football where it's not going to be like what it was, but it's going to be something new. We're evolving, unlike Arsenal. But that's a good thing, though. If a club evolves over time, that shows like what clubs are going to stand longer, and the fact that we are evolving ourselves with new manager, new type of players.
Mainly how you were like maybe like 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons ago, how we were to now how we are now, there's a huge difference. So
yeah, we just need to be rewarded for it. We just need to, like, the players, the manager, the fans. We just need something to be won as a reward for the hard work that we're putting in. That's what comes next.
I'll still say we're 1 or 2 players away from winning some good trophies.
We could well be. I personally believe we're only 1 player away.
I'll still say we need a backup striker as Cavani's going next year.
Isn't, I mean, we are hearing rumors of us trying for a Haaland and all. Do you guys believe we'll get him?
I do.
Yeah, but Haaland probably stay for 2 years. But his cousin that's good, he's 17 and he's scoring every single game for Mold.
That's no disrespect, though. That's in the Norwegian league.
Yeah, that's where Haaland started.
Aye, but he's went to Europe and he's built his career. Like, even from such a short period of time, he still went to Europe. That's Vlahovic or whatever his cousin's called. I know he's over there, and like the thing is, though, like, it's good to go for like the next top striker. Like, Haaland's the one, but then you've got Vlahovic, who is the coming of Haaland as well. But until they've gone out, and this is not me mocking the Norwegian league for what it is. That is not what it is. We need to see what they can do in a more advanced league first. We need to see what they can do in a more difficult scenario. Can they test themselves in Europe? And if they can and they prove themselves, then bring them to United. But you don't want to waste that golden opportunity further down the line. Do it at the right moment. I think that's where some clubs get it wrong. And I think we're being smarter.
Yeah, true.
I mean, look, I'd say with Haaland, I think I discussed it with Maisie once as well. I think I agree with her with Greenwood. You saw Greenwood today; he was really good today, and I think maybe he's just a little bit under ready, but he's not far off. And
he's getting there.
He's getting there.
I think this season could be the making of him, right? And if he has a cracking season this season, and you win a cup or some of some form of whether it be a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup, just to get the winning mentality, I think you wouldn't even need Haaland. I don't even see why you need him. Right? You pay 150 million just to have him there for 2 years. Well, for me, that's 101. That is a waste of 150 million. I won't want to pay 150 million for a player that's going to last there for 2 years.
Exactly. Especially when he sees Barcelona and Real Madrid's ultimate platform.
Especially when there's plenty of other strikers out there with good enough numbers to cope it with the Premier League that you can pay half the price for.
Yeah, like there's a few players in the league that I would take. I'd take Raul Jimenez in a heartbeat.
Oh, yes.
Are you at Lautaro Martinez?
Lautaro Martinez? Yeah, I would. I think he's an excellent option. In all fairness, I know that sounds bonkers, but he scored 2 goals already tonight. I take Olivier Giroud as an experienced backup option.
That Kasper Dolberg.
No, I don't particularly rate Dolberg. But even though he had a particularly good Euros, he went down in my estimation after Ajax. He just never really built himself well. So
he scored 2 goals tonight.
Yeah, true. I just don't think he would be the right option. I just don't think he'd be right. I think obviously that's my opinion compared to somebody else. And my opinion for me is my own, but it just depends on what is right for the club as well. Like, I could say we can go out and sign Raul Jimenez next summer as a 29-year-old turning 30 for like 3 or 4 years as an experienced backup option to Greenwood. But the club could go out of nowhere and sign, I don't know, crazy. They could sign Pablo Dybala as a different type of forward. Like, the club could just do that. Like, what I think is completely different, but I just look at what we really need, and I don't think we need a striker right now. I think what we really need is a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
Oh, that is definitely. We need the DM more than the striker now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
We definitely need the DM. Definitely.
Exactly. We've got Cavani, we've got Martial now when he needs to be. We've got Rashford when he comes back. We've got Sancho. The attack is players. It doesn't matter who we play up front. We just need to get the midfield sorted to fulfill it. But I thought the midfield today was fantastic.
Oh yeah. Many people were saying when they saw the McFred lineup, like I would see on Twitter like so many people bashing Ole for choosing that, but it turned out to be really good in the end.
The Red Fred's good goal, and then he had heart attack. I was like, oh my god, he scored.
I was happy.
Think about this, guys. Just think about this. So between Pogba, Bruno, and Fred, there was 8 goals and assists in that game.
That's right.
That's dangerous.
Here's another thing as
Mad
well.
midfield.
It's
Mad
historical as well.
stuff.
Pogba's first Manchester United player to ever get 4 assists in a single game.
And the thing is, you hadn't even included Sancho in that one yet.
That actually brings me to my next point anyway. Yeah, that brings to my next point about Bruno hat-trick and Pogba 4 assists.
Yeah, Bruno's just world class, and Pogba needs to stay from like him and Bruno together, like amazing.
Yeah, like he keeps going at this form. We need him. We need to keep him.
Yeah, I honestly think is that some people, if they have their own agenda about Pogba, they need to wake up and see the reality. If he's going to start playing like that, like he did against Leeds, now don't forget, Leeds without maybe Calvin Phillips as well, they did have a lot of space open. So if there was a big game and they were playing like that, mate, I don't see why people are moaning about Paul Pogba and wanting him to go. I would be saying right, how much do you want, and we'll put it and we'll get you signed up for another 2 years, as long as it's not a ridiculous contract. But like you'd want to put him, you want him to get pen to paper as soon as possible, especially if he's going to start feeding Bruno balls like that. I mean, the way they cut through that defense was extraordinary, and you haven't even include Sancho in that argument yet. You know,
exactly.
Cavani. I mean, was Cavani playing today? I can't remember.
No, Cavani wasn't in the
No.
squad. He's only just got back. He's only just got back.
Yeah.
Greenwood,
Rashford's
you
still
mean
having
Greenwood?
Yeah, well, Rashford's still having his surgery, and when he gets back, right, then you've got when your side is fully strengthened in that attack, that is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, the attack is sorted. Like our attack is good enough. Really, like for the first time in so many years, we can actually compete. Like we can look at teams like City and Liverpool. We can actually look at them in the eye and say, "Game on." We can actually say that. And let's be honest. Like for the past 4-5 years, I don't know about you guys, but personally speaking, before the start of every season, I would be like, I was never sure. But then yesterday, I actually went to sleep peacefully because I knew like next day, like morning when I woke up, I was very confident, like, we would do something. Like I knew we would get the win, but trust me, I did not think about the 5-1. I did not imagine about that, but I'm glad we got the 5 goals.
I said all week long we were going to smash Leeds. We were going to beat them 4-1. This, that. I said all week long. I just knew it was going to be the perfect start to the season. And it's actually put pressure on some of our rivals, because even Chelsea couldn't put more than 4 past Palace. Liverpool couldn't put Liverpool couldn't put 4 past Norwich. We're still top of the league at the end of the first week, depending on what happens tomorrow. Like, it feels good that we went up in that sort of position, and we basically told our rivals, all right, we've stamped an authority on one of the teams in the league that have caused problems last year. We've stamped our authority, so now you've got to respond. I'm looking forward to us next week as well. We'll the exact same circumstance. It's all about nailing ahead, and the fact that a player like Bruno Fernandes getting a perfect hat-trick, first hat-trick on the opening day of the season since the 1977-78 season, is a record that's finally been smashed. It's a great feeling. Yeah, that long. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling, and not to mention, like, Pogba getting 4 assists. He's the first Manchester United player to do that in the club's history. Like, it's a phenomenal achievement.
Definitely.
But the one thing we have to, the one thing that's got to be important is the team have got to click the whole way through the season. We can't afford it to be these games, just these moments. It has to be throughout the season. And I look at that performance today, and everybody was on it. From not a single person dropped their head, even when the goal we conceded came through. I'll have to admit, as much as I dislike Leeds with an absolute passion, it was a brilliant goal. De Gea was not saving that, and all respect to De Gea, that was going in. Like, it was just too much for him. But the heads didn't drop. We responded the right way. We put 4 past Leeds, but like quite easily in the second half. And I'm like, it just shows this team has got something in them. And bad time for Arsenal fans is our next 2 games are away games, by the way. You can say goodbye to that unbeaten record.
Yeah, well, no.
I'm honestly, even though our season's already only started today, I'm genuinely happy about where we're going because I can see something. Yes, if we don't sign a defensive midfielder, we may not win the league. But I can guarantee we're finishing in the top 2. I'm that confident we're finishing in the top 2.
Easily.
Who's going to get the hat trick against Southampton?
I don't know if it's going to be a hat trick. I think it's going to be more than that.
Yeah, definitely.
If everything clicks, yeah.
But I'm just looking at that whole tagline right there. Bruno hat trick, Pogba 4 assists.
Yeah.
The one crucial thing about that is what position do they play?
CM has said
On the right.
Midfield. They're not even strikers.
Yep.
That's how dangerous that is. That is a midfielder getting those. Imagine what happens when our strikers do it.
What makes Man United dangerous now is the fact that you're not relying on one player.
Exactly.
You're not relying on one striker.
That is there.
You're relying on Pogba, Bruno. You have Sancho relying on Cavani, Greenwood. You've got so many players in that midfield that you can rely on to get a goal.
Absolutely.
And when you've got more players that you can rely on getting a goal, the more dangerous you are. Because whenever someone's not on form, there's always going to be someone that pops up.
It's what makes Man City so dangerous. They don't need the front three; they've got their midfield as well. Liverpool don't have. Liverpool have got that problem. Liverpool's midfield don't score goals, but the front three score endless amount. But they just supply it properly. Yeah, but we've got players that can score goals in those positions in midfield, up front, even in defence. So we can bag a few goals off Harry Maguire if we wanted to. Like, there's generally so much quality in this team that you physically. Rivals are going to knock us off anyway because that's what rivals do. We'll knock them. But you generally cannot look at Man United and go, Jesus, they are not title challengers. You would be extremely naive to think United aren't challenging.
True.
Yeah, I can definitely see us winning something this season.
We could. We could.
And the fact that our defense,
we need to win something.
Even if it's just one trophy, it's good for rewarding.
Yeah,
even if it's just one thing, it's still a rewarding circumstance because it's something to build on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think?
Like I remember Patrice Evra saying like this was in Sir Alex's book. I'm not so sure. Like they had remember like in the years of I'm not sure like which 2 years specifically, we did have like some sort of a trophy drought for a while, and then like we won the Carling Cup, and then after that, like that set the tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we didn't win. We didn't win a trophy after the FA Cup final in 2004. We didn't win anything until the League Cup final in 2006. Exactly. We went 3 years for a trophy.
So that one cup, even though again, let's be honest, it's not exactly as prestigious as the Prem or something like that. But the fact that we were able to win that, it did spur the momentum. Like, people were able to all the main players got that motivation. Like, we can do this. We came here. We came all the way to here. What's stopping us? No one can stop us. So we do need that one trophy to motivate it. We were so close last season, but
it's been like 5 years since we haven't won anything. We have to win something this season.
This is where for me it's 2 things that happens in the transfer window. Whether you sign CDM,
you're completely right there, Jason.
Yeah, definitely.
It's whether you sign a CDM or it's whether Man City signs Harry Kane or a striker or any striker that's top quality. It depends on those 2 things for me. If you get a CDM and they don't get a striker, then I'll probably favour Man United for the title. If it's the other way around, then I'll probably favour Man City. That's how it works for me. Because
you still can't count Chelsea out.
Oh no, you can't count Chelsea out, but it makes it even closer than it was before. But with the amount of quality you've got, you rival Man City and Chelsea, especially if you get a DM.
This season gives me
you're up there.
This season gives me the 2006 to 2010 vibe of the Premier League. Those 4 years when it was a consistent top 4 challenging each other. there is a genuine fact that you could have the same top 4 this year challenging against each other for the league, and it's so much pressure that like one result can change your whole season. So that's why I'm genuinely so excited by this season. Even if we weren't to win the league, but we won like the FA Cup or we won the Carabao Cup, or even if some way which can happen, we win the Champions League. We could. If Chelsea can win it in such a way they did last year, there's no way no other club could. It can happen. I'm not going to say we're definitely going to win it. I would love it if we won everything, or if we just won like the league or the Champions League, it'd be great. But one trophy can actually make the better for these players. It'll just give them a sense of reward, and that they finally got over the final hurdle when they've been unable to the past couple of years. It would give them something to build on, and I'm hoping that they get what they deserve, because they deserve it just as much as the fans do.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely agree there. I'll go through some quick comments, what people have put. Big up people, big up Munzi. Munzi has set up a new channel, Munzi Talks Football, so everyone check that out. Big up, and everyone big up on the live chat as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hi James, I'm all well. Yep, still got goosebumps after today's game. What a win today. Yeah, it was a really good win. Yeah, Bruno hat-trick. Even that makes me smile, because it's something I waited for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Hi Scrumpy, hope you're okay.
It's got to be the best name on YouTube. Scrumpy. That's not me taking the piss. That's genuine. That's genuine. That's got to be the coolest name on Twitter.
Big up Rich Sports.
YouTube. Big up Rich.
Big up.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't yet, go and subscribe to Rich Sports as well. He does really good channels and streams as well, and you see me sometimes on there, and as well as Reese and Stephen goes on there sometimes too. Yeah. It might be only the Burnley shirt they sell. Well, I think Reese has got a secret Burnley shirt in his wardrobe.
It's for his, no, he
Is
gets
it?
he gets it
Was
out
it
when he wants to
me
play
put on the back?
Why the fuck would I own a Burnley shirt?
It's for you. It's when you play your PS4 and you want to play your career mode.
I play PS5, mate. I don't play my PS4 as much.
Stephen, question for you.
Oh fuck.
Question for Stephen here, so let's see how he answers it.
Steve, the podcast in a couple of weeks will be an. Yeah. Do you really think we're going to beat Chelsea and Man City? Do you think we're going to beat them?
Rich, you've put him lost for words, and that doesn't happen often. Good one, Rich.
Couple of weeks, Arsenal will still be bottom. They'll get beat off Norwich.
Fernandez did me good on fantasy football, getting a hat-trick.
Yep, done me.
Anyone else captain Bruno Fernandez just like me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yep.
Couldn't be arsed with vice captains this year. I only want a main man.
Hey, Michael. I hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
But I'm just glad that the fact that what we've seen today is that it was an overall great team performance. One man bags a hat trick, one man bags 4 assists. It gets the fan base happy unless you generally don't care. You're just more interested in just winning trophies. You're not interested in a positive atmosphere, which I totally understand. I want both. It's a great deal of the fact that it's a great way to start the season. It's a perfect way to start the season, and then we can just move on with it. And I'm just glad that the 2 players that got the best bits of the stats today was Pogba and Bruno, who are always in the limelight, because they've earned it. They've earned it, rightfully so. So I hope to see more.
True. Same.
Yeah, you're completely right there. I'm going to go for some questions now. Everyone who is on the live chat, please tune in. I'd like to love your answers as well. I'll go with the first question here. Will this be the breakaway season for Greenwood? How many goals will he get this season? I'll start with you, Jason.
15 or over.
What about you, Vignesh?
15 plus easily with the service he'll be getting, with the likes what we have, easily 15 plus.
Yeah. What about you, Reese?
It's an interesting one because obviously he's been moved around position, right wing, and now he's been playing as a striker today. I'm gonna go on a limb. I reckon he'll be just short of 20. I think he'll just be short of 20. I think he'll get about 18 or 19. But in all fairness, though, I want to see him add more assists to his game as well, and I want to see him add more goals from his head. It'd be great to see him add more goals from his head. But if I had to put a number on it, I'd say about 18 or 19.
What about you, Stephen?
I don't think he'll get 20. I think he'll get around about 15. For me, it would be about 15, 16.
It'll definitely be his breakaway season, though. It'll definitely be his breakthrough season.
Yeah,
Definitely.
If he's
especially he's got that role model of Cavani there as well, who's helping him behind the scenes. He's learning his kind of style of play, and he's got other people there at the club like Rashford to help him. He's got Martial there. You've got Sancho there now to help him. He's got potential for me to be one of the best young players in the world if he continues to be as he is.
He's not the only
it's
one.
It's going to be a breakaway season.
So if I cut the answer one question in your live chat, is that right?
Yeah, he's not the only one. He's got Elanga as well. That's proper good.
It's true. I was just going to respond to bath time with Vaughan. For me, I want a deep line. I want a deep playmaker. I've said that every stream I've been on. I do not want a destroyer. I want a playmaker in that midfield that can just pass the ball around like a Michael Carrick. That's what I want. I think we're just lacking that sort of player.
Yeah, or Paul Scholes.
That's what I feel. So so to answer your question, what kind of CDM are we on about? Well, specifically for me, it's a deep playmaker. That's what I want. I do not want a ball winner. No thanks.
Yeah.
Good question, though. Good question.
Very good question. Yeah, very good question. Tri-steak and lobster. You've already told me about this, and I haven't tried lobster before, as you already know. In manner, Greenwood was running at defences today. I think he'll get tons of assists. That's a good point. How many assists do you think he'll get?
About 6 or 7. 6 or 7.
Around 9. I'll say around 9.
I'd say around about 6 to 10.
I think he'll be more focusing on scoring, so maybe the assist part may be less, but who knows?
I think he's just looking at the way he's just trying to build himself as a forward, and he's trying to adapt to the game better, and he's maturing in the right way. So we'll see what sort of number 9 does he want to be. Does he want to be just a natural number 9, or does he want to be a complete forward where he plays all 3 positions perfectly and he just adapts? So if he's playing as a winger, does he come in, cut in and score, or does he want to assist? I think he's just looking to adapt his game really well, and he started off today as a number 9, but he was everywhere, and I just love that as a player. I think he's adapted more to Cavani than anybody else. I think he's looked more into Cavani's when that's the sort of player I want to be, everywhere, and he's causing havoc. More danger for Greenwood not scoring a goal than getting an assist, because if he gets into a bad run, it could be a problem, but he's handled himself so well that I reckon the longest run he'll go this season without scoring a goal is maybe 2 games. Just the way he conducts himself on that pitch. He's just such a professional that I don't have any problems about him not scoring every game, because he's what he does for the team doesn't have to be about goals. He just adds so much for creativity in his movement that lets other players break through. So, simple answer is it going to be his breakthrough season? Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think for me, Greenwood is going to be that player I want to look out for the most, especially with him being so young and he's literally getting into the team so well now. I'd like to see on how he will adapt really well, especially with some new additions like Sancho in the squad, because I know a lot of people were saying what's happening to Greenwood now. Sancho's coming. He needs to, obviously, every single opportunity he gets, he needs to show that he is worthy of that squad. And today, he has really well and truly put that stamp on there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
True.
Could not agree more. He has to take those opportunities. He has to take those opportunities, and he's got to run with it. Couldn't agree more.
I think we all know that he is the future after all. So I'm sure even he also has that belief. Like I play, I make the right moves, and I just do my job. I will be United's future number 9. So it's a win-win for us as well as
much better than Martial.
I don't want him thrust into the role and like put on so much expectation where it gets his head and then it doesn't work out for him. I want him to be eased in, even if it takes this whole season and he's just doing it like in certain games, like a couple of games he plays as a striker and then he's moved out to the right, but he's still getting into the middle and showing what he can do as a striker. That for me, that's perfect. I don't want him just thrown in and be like, all right, now you're the number 9, and then
entirely pressurize him so much. Otherwise, it may get to his head and it's gonna screw the whole thing up. We don't want that. Right?
Definitely. If he's easy in this role, and if it takes like a year, I got no problem with that because it's another year where maturity as well. It's good for his game.
What do you think? What do you guys think about Elanga? Like, would he play a major role? Because like, who are the strikers do we have? We have Cavani, we have Greenwood, we have Martial. Do you guys see a role for Elanga? Maybe not.
I think Elanga could.
At least in the cup game.
Yeah, I reckon Elanga will play in the Kabbalah Cup more.
I think he'll be more involved in terms of like if he is playing in the cup competition. If he doesn't go on loan, he'll be on the left wing. But he's shown at the academy level as well. He can play as a striker. So I'm not necessarily bothered. I think he's going to play a major role. No, not this season. But when he plays in any game, he does get a chance. I think he will take it as much as he can, and he'll show why the club has faith in him. So we'll see what happens. But he's a player I like. I rate Elanga. He's a fantastic player. We'll just see where he goes from here. But if he's going to play, it's predominantly on the left-hand side, and he'll look to make as much opportunity as he can count.
I really like Elanga, and you could tell, like, before obviously the season started, he bulked up quite a lot, and I feel like that is going to really help him when he does play some more Premier League games, or if he gets into like the early stages of the Champions League or the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. It'll really help him quite a lot to have that little bit more strength in him.
Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Here was a question as well from All Sacrifice. What would you all consider on a realistic season for Man United? So I will go for you first, Reese. What would you say would be a successful, realistic season for Man United?
Win the quad. That would be the absolute best. Realistic, successful season. For me, a proper title challenge when it gets to April. So like within like 3-5 points of like whoever's at the top spot, or if we are at top spot, at least showing good stead of leading the race to go with the final hurdle, and maybe 1 or 2 trophies. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, we won both. That'd be great. One of them would be fine as well. And we've got to make a run the Champions League, at least quarterfinals. We cannot afford to get knocked out the group stage of the Champions League again. Like we've got to get into knockout stages this time. So yeah, second proper title challenge in April, maybe 1 or 2 trophies, and a good run at the Champions League.
And what about you, Vitnish? What would you consider a successful, realistic season for United?
Definitely, we have to be. I would prefer for us challenging till the last week of the title race, because we don't want to give City or whoever it is like an easy run to the title. The whole point we have to make it competitive and reduce the gap and all that. So definitely a storied and a proper and a concerted title challenge. And definitely again, if we can win both the domestic competitions, again it's a huge win for us. Either one also, it's amazing. And the Champions League, I feel we do have the quality to go all the way to the semis. So I feel like provided if the groups come just the baby, and I just hope we don't get any group of death situation like last time. I really hope we don't get that stuff. So provided we have a favorable run of opponents around. We can I see us definitely coming to the semi-finals, because look at the squad we have. In like so many years, we can actually look at other teams in the eye and we can say, game on. You show us, we'll show you. We're not scared of you. We can say we're united. We won't need to be afraid of home advantages or some of them messing up. We can actually say, you wanna fight with us? We are ready to bring it on. We can do it. So definitely.
Why talk, man?
To be fair, we need to beat Arsenal and Liverpool this year, because we haven't beaten them in the league in quite some time.
Oh yeah, definitely that too. But yeah, so yeah, definitely, like
You should be beating us. Come on.
We will beat you. Don't worry.
So,
Good.
What do you think, Jason, with that question about a successful, realistic season?
Well, I think first off, we need to challenge till the end of the season in the Premier League. We have to win a cup, definitely. Either it's the Champions League or the FA Cup, I don't care, but we have to win the cup. And a defender, midfielder is a must.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Stephen, as well? Looking at a Man United point of view, not an Arsenal, because I feel like you're already done for.
Yeah, we're already done for, so don't worry about that one. I do feel that a realistic season for you guys would be second, maybe, and a good run in the Champions League, probably quarterfinals, semis, something like that, and then definitely one of the cups, and I would say the FA Cup.
I certainly think we could achieve something, but it's a matter of just getting over that final hurdle. Like, sometimes it can just be an instance where, when we've lost a game, like, I think I look at the cup runs we've done in the past couple of years, where we've only failed to reach a semi-final or final once, and that was against Leicester. That was the quarterfinals. Like, we've consistently reached the semi-finals or the final. That hasn't happened in quite some time. It's just a matter of getting over. It's just a matter of getting over the final hurdle, and I think a lot of people don't realize it's the pressure it's on a player when they get to a final as well. Like, I've never played in a cup final. I played football. I've never been in a cup final, so I wouldn't even know what that pressure's like. But as a fan, you look at it like, that's what I want. I want a trophy. I want this. I want this. I want that. We've got to earn it. There is not a house of hell that we have a divine right to win any trophy. We have to earn it. And I'm hoping this year we'll show enough that we can earn it. And I agree with Nathan's comment, bringing in Varane. It's massive. That is a serial winner right there. He's never lost a final. So he's gonna give us an extra edge, and I look forward to seeing it where we go from there, because we're bringing in the right players as well. We're not wasting money on players that aren't going to improve us. We're actually spending money on players that are going to improve us now and long term.
Definitely.
Yep, McTominay. Yeah, we give. He needs praise. So does Fred, although someone forgot that he scored today.
It's just a bit of a shame with McTominay and Fred, because they're two good individuals, but however, they just don't work together.
I don't think they're the perfect pairing. A lot of people comment about Maguire and Lindelof, that they're not a perfect pairing, but there's games where they play together where they're actually very good. It's the same with McTominay and Fred. They both have games where they're perfect to play with each other, but as a long-term pair, they're not the best option. But that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to say they're not the best long term, because that's something where they can play with somebody else and build a partnership that's better for them, and that's actually good for the team. They could still be used in a different manner, but today they played well together. They got it right. McTominay was all over the place. Fred scored. It's good for his confidence. So we'll see where it goes from there. Like, they just need to add to their game and just work on the bit of weakness they have. It could make them better in the long term. Who knows? But
big up talk.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, completely. I've got another question here. Was Calvin Phillips missed for Leeds today? I personally think he was missed. He is a real key player for Leeds, and he's that kind of rocking midfield. That was something that was really missing today. What do you think, Stephen?
Oh, he was a big miss. I mean, you could see the gaps that were left when Man United went forward. The gaps that Calvin Phillips will be covering. It left Leeds United very much exposed, especially because they wanted to play They want to play the same way they play every time, which is attack. And when you do that and you haven't got Calvin Phillips as a CDM, you're going to get exposed, and that's what happened to them. They got punished badly because the gaps they were leaving, and Calvin Phillips wasn't there to cover it.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. What do you think, Fitnish? Was Calvin Phillips a miss, do you think?
Oh, it's gone.
I think he's gone. I'll ask the same question for you, Jason.
Yeah, he's a big miss. He's brilliant at the Euros, and he's a player I'll definitely take at Manchester United if they let us have him. He's a great player, and I'll say with him on the team does make them a bit stronger.
Reese, I seen your eyes were a bit like popping out. What's your views?
I think he's a decent player, but did Leeds miss him? I don't know, because I remember the last time we played them at Old Trafford, we spanked him and he was in the same team. So is he a miss? Maybe, but not as big as losing if they didn't have Rafinha or Patrick Bamford. I think that's a bigger miss for them. I think losing Llorente last night is a bigger miss than Calvin Phillips. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. He's a good player, but he's not necessarily the fulcrum of their team. But he's a great unit to the team. Then again, though, if he had played today, the result may have been they still would have lost today easily. But
Yeah,
I don't think it would have been. I don't think it may have been 5 past them. But I think the fact that he's had a great Euros, it would have been a slightly different result because he's more better in his position. Like he's more experienced now in his position. But I don't necessarily think it's as big as a miss for them as, say, losing like a Rafinha, who, in my opinion, is by far the best player. If they had lost Rafinha, they've got nothing in terms of creating in a game. They've not got any control. But yeah, I would say a miss, just not as big a miss, because they've still got competent players in that position. So
yeah. What about you, Vignesh? Because I think I asked you, but I think you went off.
Yeah. I do feel like, obviously, like, from a Leeds perspective, he's definitely one of the important players over there. So definitely, like, I think to an extent his input also was needed. Otherwise, it's not like, we would have lost to them even if he was there or not. We would still beat them. We have the players, we have the quality, everything is good with us. But yeah, like, for a Leeds point of view, I think definitely he has a role to play in their team, and like you do need like parts of a machine to make it a well-oiled run machine in the first place. So Calvin Phillips is a part of that machine, and since he was not there, I can say to a certain extent.
I go on record, I do not want Calvin Phillips at Manchester United.
I do want Calvin Phillips at Man United. I quite like Calvin Phillips.
One thing, the Leeds fans were disgraceful at the end of the match.
I'd rather have Rafinha if I was bringing in another winger option. Yeah,
there was disgraceful saying shit about Rashford.
Calvin Phillips was a miss, but hooked up at half time last season when they were 1-4 VOs in the 6-2. Yeah, correct. You did mention that too, didn't you, Reese?
Mm-hmm.
If we had a fit Sancho instead of Dan James, it could have been 9 or 10-0. That's really a good point. That could have potentially happened. And Cavani as well. It is honestly quality. I'm glad he's got that contract extension for this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Phillips is more sideways in terms of the CDM.
Exactly.
I want Phillips. He would be unreal for us.
I'd be unreal on the bench.
With Calvin Phillips, for me, I do feel like he is a good CDM, but he wouldn't be my first choice person. He'd probably be someone who I'd probably pick if we couldn't get so many people. Like I would like, obviously, like Declan Rice or Sol from Atletico Madrid would be another shout for me. Or even Neves. Get Neves.
Honestly, I don't see Calvin Phillips as anything. Like, he wouldn't even be my top 10 for defensive midfield choices. That says all really about Calvin Phillips. He wouldn't even be my top 10. He's a good player. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not going to like absolutely tear him to pieces. I'm just saying, like, if I wanted a defensive midfielder, he wouldn't be my top 10. But he's a good player. He suits Leeds better than he suits us. because we just play a different style of football to them.
He's a good player though, Declan Rice. Calvin Phillips and him both worked together during the Euros, but I feel like for me, Rice is more of that deep playmaker, which we do need at the club. Whereas Calvin Phillips, he can go forward if he wants to go forward, and I just want that CDM who is a bit more of a rock there, who's there to help the centre backs if we do need that assistance, of course.
My perfect pair be that pair from Leicester, the Dyer.
Indeed.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Akil's comment. I'd rather have Neves because he is a deep line playmaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a particular Rice fan. Fox will agree with me on that. I'm not a particular fan of Declan Rice.
That too, Neves is like Premier League proven, so he's like come through the championship. He knows English football, so yeah.
Ndidi reminds me of Kante a bit.
Interesting. I just don't want a destroyer. I just do not want this team with a destroyer. Because we've tried that before and it failed miserably.
Yeah.
Bissouma? What do you all think about Bissouma coming to Man United?
I've only watched him a handful of times. He's okay, but I'm not sure.
I don't reckon he'll do the job. No.
You need someone more defensive, I think.
Yeah,
I've watched him a few times, and he's a decent player. I just don't think he's I don't know if he would be our right choice for me. I think James has said it spot on. Like I think Neves is right. Neves or Solnit is like a deep line playmaker is what I would do. If I was owning Man United, I'd go and get like. If I was owning Man United, I would tell Bayern Munich, "You're my bitch." I would sign Joshua Kimmich. I don't care.
Kimmich.
I would sign Kimmich, but that's never going to happen.
How are we going to get Kimmich?
Put the money on the table, but it's never going to happen. But I look at it, you can still do a smart choice. Like there's like Banakar at Milan, there's Koopmeiners at Alkmaar. Like there's smart moves that you can do. Like, Solnit, Ruben Neves, these are deep line playmakers that you could sit in front of your midfield, let them dictate the game. You get your attack players forward, they can just sit and pass the ball forward, let the defense do their job. I don't see any issue with that. I think getting a destroyer is a problem because I look at what we've done with destroyers before and it backfired massively. Do I have to remind you of one name? Morgan Schneiderlin.
Yeah. I'm going to go for my final question now. And everybody, please put your opinion in the comments as well. I would love to hear everyone's opinion. Who was your man of the match today? Right. I will start with you first, Reese, because I know you're...
Lovely. I would love to say Bruno Fernandes. The fact that he scored a hat-trick first on the opening season since the 77-78 season. Just remind you of a little fun fact. But I just look at the way we played today and everything came through the fulcrum work of Pogba's movement, his intelligence, he's passing the ball. Bruno lapping onto them was fantastic. For me, if I had to put the man of the match, for me it has to be Paul Pogba. He was exquisite today. I mean, first man to get 4 assists for Man United, and he'd done it all with his own swagger, his own style. He dominated the game. He took it to Leeds, and I just think it was absolutely excellent that he took all the pressure off Fernandes of having to track back 60 yards to pick up the ball and drive at teams when Fernandes could stay within 20 yards of the opposition's box. It was exactly what we need. So yeah, man of the match for me, 100%, Mr. 4 assists, Paul Pogba.
Jason, what do you think? Who was your man of the match?
Yeah, for me, Pogba straight down. He was brilliant. He was everywhere on the pitch, and he's passing that pitch perfect, bit like Paul Scholes, like.
Vignesh, who would you say your man of the match is?
Yeah, Paul Pogba again. Like as stated before, like the passes all were exquisite. All was on point, and he did not make a mistake. It was like he was like perfect, you know. So I mean, he did have his misses and all, but again, he compensated for it with his amazing passing and all. Like everything was so good. Like it worked well, and he was amazing. Like the player we see for him, like how he plays at France, like we would always say, like, you know, why can't he play like that for us? Why aren't we seeing him like that? This match, he showed it. So yeah, Paul Pogba it is for me.
Okay, yeah.
Special mention to Maguire for his performances in defence with Lindelof today. They were both superb.
Oh, yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
Lindelof had a
definitely.
really good game. He did the job done, and like he had them one-on-one challenges. He wasn't like weak, which he did struggle with these past so many seasons. So it was really nice to see that Lindelof looked like he did really improve, and he probably whatever person given them critiques, he really did work on them, and you could see that this game.
Absolutely. I think there's
I
one
think-
other mention. There's one
I
other
think he
mention we
saw-
could say
he
as
saw-
well from man of the match as well. There's one more. Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
Same again today. He was fantastic. Wan-Bissaka, that's right, Akil. Wan-Bissaka was very good today. For Luke Shaw from the left-hand side, just dominated. The midfield was superb.
Yeah.
Fred, like
Apart
McTominay.
from Davis, Luke Shaw's the best left back in the world.
To be honest, we can't say any team member did not perform. It was spot on.
Yeah, there's so many players that deserve a mention today for their
it's not
for their
just
performance, but for
Bruno
me, it's Pogba.
Pogba.
But I will
Yeah.
admit, there is one
Yeah.
fair comment in there. There is one fair comment to make. I'm just reading it again. Yeah, bath time with Vaughan. Pogba was at fault for the Leeds goal, in his opinion. In all fairness, he did have. He was slightly at fault. He wasn't fully at fault, but he did have a moment. But he still showed in his game. He had a decent game, but not a man of the match worthy performance for me. No.
Yeah.
He had a
Damn,
decent game.
James.
He's a decent player.
Enough chances he had. He could have scored maybe 2 goals. He could have scored if he had taken his chances properly.
Yeah,
One or two.
he had a
definitely
decent
one.
game today. He had a decent game
least
today,
one.
but I
But
wouldn't say
yeah.
man of the match. No, I wouldn't. No.
Yeah.
Stephen, I thought I could see bees in your green, in your background. Because do you know, is it 2 bees there for 2 goals?
Brentford have never been to the
So who is your man of the match today?
Brentford have never been to Highbury, so that's why.
They'll win
yes.
when they get there.
Oh
don't
yeah,
worry.
Steve,
That's
the Joy the Cracker's debut next week.
Oh no, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love every minute of it. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be a massacre. I would say Pogba. It's between Pogba and Fernandes for me. I really loved the way Bruno was all over the pitch today. So I would say Bruno for me.
I thought our fan base was fantastic today as well, and it was good to see Sancho's reception and Varane when he got announced
I
his
think the
reception.
Varane thing really
Perfect.
started it off to me.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
But then to be
For me, as much as everyone knows, I do like Bruno Fernandes. I would have to give the man of the match to Paul Pogba. Knowing he got them 4 assists out of 5 goals is absolutely incredible. I've always said I do not like Paul Pogba on the left. I prefer him as in that CM role if we have that quality CDM. He well and truly proved me wrong about that left wing position. He honestly smashed it for me today. Bruno, I love that he got that hat trick as well. But Pogba for me, it has to be my man of the match. Absolutely incredible game. And I've got to give a good shout out as well to Wan-Bissaka, especially in the second half. He was so well defensively, and you could see that he did a couple of good forward, going forward quite a few times as well, which I really like to see of him too.
Ho 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 ho! The so-called dream team of in France have conceded twice.
Oh.
I don't know. I remember Dream Team, the TV series. I'm probably just a bit. Jason, you might know. You're slightly older than I am. But Stephen, you probably won't know. Dream Team was an old TV series. It was on Sky years ago, and it was literally just an absolute shithouse. But it was literally about building the best team and all that, and the comedy and crap. This is PSG.
Yeah, I've heard of that program, but I never watched it.
Yeah, consider yourself lucky.
I remember in the Sun newspaper they did a dream team, and that was about as far as it went. But now they've got Fantasy Premier League.
The last time Arsenal had a dream team was what 2004, because they've been having nightmares ever since.
It's not about having a dream team; it's about working hard and keeping that mentality up.
Sometimes you don't have to have. Sorry, you don't have to have like a squad of stars. You just have to have a team that plays well as a team.
Yeah,
I think you saw that.
You need that quality in depth.
But you saw.
Yes,
saw
you remember
that in Euros.
Ferguson? He used to win with shit team.
But here's the thing: is like you saw that in the Euros, teams that weren't playing, that didn't have great players, but played well as a team, were getting into the latter
Oh
rounds of the
yeah,
tournament.
they did refresh Arsenal 6-1 with a shit team.
8-2.
Man United thrashed
But
Arsenal.
a 6-1 did happen in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
That was
when Nani took the piss out of you.
That was 8-2. That was 8-2.
That was 8-2.
Yeah, 8-2.
Oh, I love
yeah.
that 8-2. We'll go through everybody's man of the matches as well. Thanks for tuning in, Vid. So he says Bruno. Bath Time said Pogba was at fault of the Leeds goal.
Fair comment, yeah.
Yeah.
Pogba man of the match for me, unreal today. I completely agree there. Scrumper has said Bruno and a close second for Pogba.
Maisie, do you want to check the private checks? I made some.
James, Pogba for me, 4 assists, not bad at all. Yep, not bad. As Reese has stated before, is the first Man United player to get 4 assists in one game. So that is a really good stat to have now, isn't it? And it's funny how we're getting all these stats under Ollie now as well, isn't it? But apparently play boring football according to some people. Pogba should have scored. Yeah, maybe he should have scored, but he still got them 4 assists. He helped the team massively. There's no point saying he should have. He done his job for me today, and I was very impressed by him.
Agreed.
Pogba man of the match is a fair shout. It's good to have so many candidates. Yep. Wan-Bissaka was really good too. I thought McTominay bailed Lindelof out a few times.
Fair comment.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Not really much between Bruno and Pogba today. Yep, I completely agree. Short is Irwin.
Very bold. Very bold. Very interesting one.
Can we just end the season now? You guys are top and my team are 4th. It'd be good to actually see Everton in the Champions League for once, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Yes, James, let's call it off. Stop the count now. United at top, Arsenal and Leeds relegated. I think that's the dream as well.
Well, not Liverpool.
Okay. Started on the left, played better when he moved inside.
Yep.
PSG are doing a Real Madrid version 2.0. All vibes, no trophies. If they do end up being like that, then Poch do need to go. If he can't win trophies when he's got Messi, he's got Mbappe, he's got Neymar, he's got, honestly, world-class players at that club. And if he can't even win the French league, that just says what kind of a manager he is. I think he's quite overrated, and I don't know how people wanted him over Ole. My head's frazzled by it.
Let them.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see these superstars will respond when Poch tells to the press from the front. So that's gone through everybody's comments. If anyone has any questions at all, please say your questions in the comments and we will
respond briefly. I will respond to one because I can see one that's I'll actually answer James' comment as well. FIFA 22, they are in fact looking to give PSG a 6-star team, although to be fair, they don't freaking deserve it. But I will respond to one important comment. Munzie, I was busy earlier. That's why I wasn't appearing in the Man United agenda. I've already spoken to Errol about that. I told him I couldn't make it on the show this afternoon. But I did say I'd be there next time. I just couldn't make it. I was busy yesterday. Still managed to get to a late show, but I couldn't make every single show. As much as I would love to, I just physically can't do it.
Don't worry about it, Reece, man.
But I will say it in the right way. I was busy. I did have things on. I finally got to get out of the house for the first time in 20 months.
You don't have to explain yourself.
You don't have to explain yourself.
But I will be there. I will be in the next one. I'll be on the next one. It's just sometimes you just can't make it. But at least I'll tell you up front if I'm busy or not. That's the difference.
Yeah, but you don't have to explain yourself, especially on the stream at all. It's absolutely fine. You don't have to explain yourself in my
Don't have to, but I'd rather. I don't have to.
I know,
rather
I
do it. That's the
understand
difference.
that you
We
do
all know
rather
if you're
explain
busy.
yourself,
We
but
know
you
if you're
don't
saying
have
you're
to
busy,
explain
you're busy.
yourself.
We all
Um,
know if you're busy, you're busy. So
Ollie at the wheel. Here's a question here. Do you think we will play with a single holding midfielder against teams like Southampton and Wolves? What do you think, Jason?
No, I think we would keep the same team against Southampton. Maybe play Sancho, start him off. But I don't think Daniel James will start. Definitely next game.
Yeah, I think Daniel James though is more of a rotational player because especially in that first game in December last year, there was a lot of space what Daniel James could really run. So I think Ollie was thinking more that way, and that's probably why he started. He's not going to start every single Premier League game, not in my opinion, anyway. What do you think, Stephen, to this question?
You could have that option if you really wanted to. Sometimes it's one of those at the minute when you've played that well in your first game is when it's not broke, don't fix it sort of turnouts. So I'd be reluctant if I was Ollie to change it unless Southampton play a particular style that requires a tactical change. Then I don't see any really need to change anything that's not broken. So.
What do you think, Reese?
I don't think so. But it's not a problem. I don't mind. I've said it a few times. I don't mind if we play 4-2-3-1 or we play the 4-3-3. It's just how we're coached to play the system. Do we want to approach it as a more attacking system? Do we want to be more defensive? To dominate the ball? Do we want to counter? I don't particularly mind. I would rather us attack from the front, regardless of the system we play in. So I don't mind if we play I don't mind if we play a single or a double against these teams. It doesn't particularly bother me. It's just how we play the system. But we could still technically play a 4-2-3-1 with a single holding midfielder. You could have a box-to-box midfielder beside them and let them do their job. It's not a problem. But in the long term, I'd like a 4-3-3. But at the moment, I don't mind the system we're playing as long as we attack more from the front and we're more offensive rather than defensive. I want us to control games more this season rather than let teams control us. I don't want us to sit back and counter against the bigger teams, predominantly like how we counter against Man City or we counter against Liverpool, etc. I want us to dominate these teams as well because we've got the players to actually give them a go. Like we can certainly do that. So I don't particularly mind if we play single or double. But to answer his question, if that's my opinion, but to answer the actual question itself, do you think we will play? At the moment, no. I don't think we will. Not yet.
Yeah. Vignesh, what do you think in terms of this question?
I think, like I said before, I think it depends upon how how teams like Southampton and Wolves play. Like each team has a different and unique style. So I would like us to make sure that I don't want us to have all these boring nil-nil draws we had last time. So like especially against teams like which were like or low block teams like we were struggling to break attacks. So definitely I would want us to take care of that, and we have the squad. We can definitely seize control and take control of a game. So I would definitely beat 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. I just want that the attacking philosophy has to be there. Otherwise, it'll be hard. Otherwise, we're just making things harder for us. Would rather win it early and finish it off and get a job done rather than I mean, I do love the whole point of coming back and all. It's a tradition of us, and I 100% agree to that. But like I mean, coming back every time, it does give a heart attack and stuff to the heart. So I would rather wish we would dominate from the start,
Yeah,
No need
of course. I'll finish off with James's question. Would you stick the same side in your next game, or would you change it to give the new lads a start? What would you do, Jason?
I'd only change one player. That's swap Sancho with Daniel James and keep the same team.
Okay. Vignesh, what would you do? Would you keep the same side, or would you change it?
Yeah, like I said before, like I'd switch James with Sancho, and I mean, I don't know, but I'll definitely think of giving Donny some more time, if possible, at least coming as a sub or something. If he doesn't start, I mean, obviously it's kind of hard when you've got Bruno, Pogba, and stuff to deal with. At least like he needs more time. He needs more game time. So I really hope he also gets some time, but not like last season where he's like half the time at the bench. So yeah.
Yep. Reese, what would you do?
Sorry, I was just in a bit of mind blank.
Half asleep, are you?
No, not asleep at all. Not asleep at all. Just thinking about it actually. So I was just, my mind was in the zone, so I was actually thinking about it. I've said it a few times. I don't particularly rate Dan James, and it's just because I don't think he has the end product. But the way he played today, he wasn't particularly poor. He wasn't particularly bad either. I thought he had quite a decent game. Do I think we should make a change? Only if I think we should make the change if Sancho does better in training. Sancho was a much better player than James, so I'm not going to knock him here. I'm just like speaking purely of the training fact as well. James, like, he clearly started today because it was the right game for him. Sancho will be looked at. Will he start him in the next game? We'll see. But if we do make a change, I'd be fine with that. I would rather we made like a midfield change. I would probably put in Matic maybe in midfield, maybe take out either McTominay or Fred. I don't particularly mind which one. But I would rather see Varane start just in the defence. We could make a few changes. I don't particularly mind. You could take James out, put Sancho in. You could put Varane in for Lindelof. You could put Matic in for one of the two defensive midfielders. It's perfectly fine for me. I don't mind. I quite like the team we played today. I thought it worked. It's just a different game. I think we should take each game the right way, and only make the right changes. Don't make changes just for the sake of it. It's got to be done right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stephen, same question with you for what James has asked.
I would say if I was going to make any two changes, it would be the two obvious ones for Lindelof for Varane, to get him some match fitness, get him some minutes. Especially if you're going to start playing Champions League football, you want Sancho and Varane minutes behind them, fully fit, ready to go. And Southampton is a good fixture to do that against. I mean, everyone's looking at Southampton look like a team to go down, so it should be a good test for them to just get their match fitness up and also take Southampton apart and quite easily. I mean, with the likes of Sancho in there rather than Dan James and Varane in the defence, one, they ain't scoring anything, and two, they're going to probably concede a lot.
Yeah, for me, there will be probably a couple of changes I'd probably have. I'd obviously remove Dan James for Sancho, let him have that first Man United start. I'd like to see Varane in there for Lindelof. I'd also like to see the Donny and Matic partnership for Southampton, because I know it definitely did work against Everton. So it'd be nice to see on how they would work against Southampton. I feel like they probably will work well with Southampton, and it's nice for Donny to actually get some minutes with us as well, because he didn't really have the minutes and he didn't really have that chance to prove himself. And this season, he really needs to put his name out there, show every single game he does get that he is worthy of wearing the Man United shirt, because we all know he is capable of doing that, but we just want to see that. Everybody just wants to see Donny. Yeah, so I have here we go. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so thank you everybody for watching my stream today. I will get everyone to shout out the socials. Reese, where can we find you?
So you can find me on Twitter. Thanks very much for having me on, Maisie. That's a pleasure coming on. Big up to yourself on your channel. You can find me on Twitter at R7UN1T3D. You can find me on Twitch at Reese_Lightning1997. No, I do not play like fucking Burnley. You can also find me on the weekly Armchair Sports Talk. I am the host of the London Lowdown, which is a show for all fans of the
He really does.
I don't, shut up. The London Lowdown is a podcast that I host, which is for all London clubs. Myself as a Man United fan, I'm the unbiased opinion that all London clubs are shit, and I get to talk about them in such a right manner, which is amazing. You can find me on Rich Sports Channel. I'll be on there tonight as well. You can find me on the Dugout Football channel on Monday, which I'll be on the World of Football podcast, which I've been on for over a year and a half now. And you can also find me on Josh's channel, JVSH. He's a Chelsea fan. You give him a follow as well. He's a good lad. Where I do like podcast with him, which is at the moment we're doing a head-to-head for the season for prediction shows. So you can find me on pretty much a fair few channels, but I like to help channels that want to grow. I'm on the United Agenda now and then when I get a chance. Obviously, the guys are doing really well. But any channel I'm on, I always wish them well. So hit a like, hit share, subscribe on Maisie's channel, Devils United. Give as much as you can. Any channel really. It's all about growing content and just being a good community. But you can find me on those channels predominantly. So thank you for having me on.
Great. Thanks for that. Thanks for coming on, Reese. Yeah, definitely sign up and watch him on Twitch. You can all have a laugh just like me playing him like seeing like a Burnley style kind of football. So
you don't beat teams the way I do playing like Burnley, for goodness sake.
Fitness, where can we find you? And it's been absolutely amazing having you on today, it being your first stream as well.
First of all, thanks, Maisie, for having me. It's been a really good experience. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter as it's Viknesh Jairam K. That's my Twitter, and you can follow me there. And yeah, and that's all.
Great. Jason, thanks for coming on. Where can we find you?
You're welcome. First, thanks for having me, and you can find me on Twitter under Jason Gurney.
And Stephen, where can we find you?
Prison.
What's that?
Prison, or as I call it, the Emirates.
That's why I went back to Highbury. Yeah, you can find me causing carnage and mayhem on SVT TV. Arsenal football, mainly football, just to keep me sane. F1 content, raising money for Children's Liver Disease Foundation, and just wanting to work closely with Devils United as well and try and get this channel growing, because I think this channel can go really, really far. And I think, Maisie, you're doing a fantastic job at this. So, make sure you subscribe there, as well as subscribing to SVT TV as well. So, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all, and everyone have a lovely evening. I will be back on Monday. I'll be doing a PSG gossip column just to discuss the transfers and their upcoming season. I thought it'd be quite good to discuss about PSG. That will be on at 9 p.m. So please make sure to tune in then. Thanks for coming on, and I will see you all soon.